Take a look at our regular tech feature now. Tech Talk is where we see what's happening in the world of tech, whether it's cell phones, computers, anything to do with gadgets, is where we drag in tech journalist, well-known tech journalist Toby Shapshak. This morning, hello to you, Toby. So let's just talk a little bit, if we could. Is Facebook having a Blackberry moment? But I asked the question knowing that some people watching now, the youngsters, might not know what a Blackberry moment is.
Of course, that is a thought us old people haven't thought of, have we, Gareth? Yes, so BlackBerry had a famous outage, a 3-day outage in 2011, and it began the end run on BlackBerry, and within 5 years they were no longer making their own devices. They were the first smartphones, if you will, or pre-smartphones. Probably one of the best ways to get your email on the device ever. And they had unified messaging in one inbox long before anyone else. All your Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApps, all of that came into one inbox. It was fantastic. But that outage was the beginning of the end for them. And there are a lot of parallels with what happened to Facebook with just a 6-hour outage. But Facebook's an infinitely different company. It has issues with morality and governance. It has issues with mental health, as we've seen with these revelations that teenage girls are being exposed to Instagram that makes their body image feel worse, and they feel worse. And Facebook is now used by 3.5 billion people, Gareth. That's half the people on the planet. So it's become this very central organizing principle, and yet it's an oligarchy. It's run by one person who owns 55% of the voting shares, and he keeps saying, I'm responsible every time there's a disaster, but he's never accountable. And those are very different issues, aren't they? And you can see that there's a real sea change happening. America's appointed very smart people, Tim Wu, Liz Khan, the FTC chairman, and a bunch of other people who are really on the ball when it comes to antitrust issues. That Khan is in her 30s. She's already a professor in the subject. So they are looking at it. American lawmakers are looking at it. All the different attorneys general of the states are looking at it. And, of course, Europe is very aggressively looking at the privacy issues. So there's a very good chance that and Facebook obviously has huge muscles and phalanxes of lawyers, and they're going to fight a tooth and nail. But one gets the feeling that their moment has come, and everything they've done that has been so destructive to society along the way is going to come back and haunt them, I fear to say.
Yeah, it could be. We could actually see a big unlike button for Facebook in years to come. Toby, while you fix that screen of yours very quickly. So I don't understand how Apple manages to dupe us every upgrade. So when it comes to the MacBooks had holes for all their ports and charging ports. They took them away. That was an upgrade. Now, Toby Shapshak, they've brought them back in, and now they're calling it an upgrade. I call rubbish.
I know. So yes, and you and me both, and half of the internet, I mean, it just gives you a sense of how out of touch Apple is, that they launched, Gareth, I'm sure you've seen it, a cleaning cloth for $20, and it's just been, people have just laughed them out of town because it is just completely absurd. It's like they've always believed their own PR, which has been fine because the products are fantastic. I'm speaking to you on an iPhone now, but the real issue is that they've just kind of lost the plot. So they took away the touch bar, which everybody alive said was useless. I never saw the point. They took away all the ports and just had 2 USB-C ports. So they've relaunched their MacBook Pro range, which of course is aimed at video professionals and people as smart as you, and ability to edit your own videos or create stuff. But they've put in all the ports that they took out: an HDMI port, an SD card. They've put in 3 USB-C ports, and now they've brought in yet another charging technology, which is MagSafe 3.
Toby, I'm going to stop you there very quickly. Toby, I'm going to stop you on the charging thing. I'll tell you why. I've only got 30 seconds left with you, but we need to talk about Instagram and teenage girls' safety. It's so important. I don't want to not get to this question. Tell me quickly what's happening with Instagram.
So Instagram is bringing out a whole bunch of new features, including the ability to post from your desktop, but it is a cesspool. It is a cesspool of mental health issues, and I think that's finally gotten through to everybody. And as Facebook tries to monetize it more and more, as the whistleblower Francis Hogan said, they prioritize their profit over safety. So, you know, I have teenage goddaughters. I really wish they weren't on Instagram, and any parents would not want to expose their children to potential mental health hazards. So that's the issue with Instagram. They keep adding features. They keep saying we can do more and more with it, but actually the real issue is that it is so destructive for this very vulnerable subset of our culture, which is teenagers, and it's bad enough being a teenager. It's worse being a teenager, seeing that everybody else is better, thinner, smarter, richer, having more fun. You know, all of that comparison stuff is the source of mental health issues.
And we also know as well, most of the time, 80%, if not more of the time, it's not even true, is it, Toby Shapshak? Thank you so much.
True. You always look good from this side, right?
Well, Toby, you never look good from any side, but always a pleasure having you on eNCA. We'll chat again soon. Doesn't matter how much he cleans his camera lens with a fancy iPhone cloth. It's still going to look like Toby Shapshak, isn't it? Okay.